Alrighty. Hey, y'all. We'll wait a few seconds and see if we got anybody that shows up. I'm just going to do this really quick before I got to go to work. There's a few news stories. Well, one's a news story that I wanted to talk about, but another one is just something that I've noticed that's been going on here with this, with vaccines and stuff. So, let's see, we got a couple of people in. All right, awesome. So I'm going to go ahead and just get started. Let's see, I'll fix my chat. We got Derek Schaefer, Triana. Oh, you got to go to work too, man. Well, thanks for stopping in. Let's see. Okay, so I'm going to get started with the possible teacher strike. Now, the Senate, well, let me see. It's not the Senate. Yeah, okay. The Senate just passed the education bill here, which includes the pay raise for the teachers. But, and I knew when they said they were going to give these teachers their pay raises and stuff, that there was going to be some kind of stipulation to it, that they're going to try to weasel out of it, you know. So this is their way of trying to weasel out of it. Now, this bill is a little bit strange because it originated in the, let me see, where was it? The the Senate Educational Committee. Now, the woman that runs it, a Miss Patricia Rucker, homeschools her kids, first of all. Homeschools her kids. But she's got it all figured out about what she wants our schools to be that she won't have her children participate in. Now, it originated in that committee and it went to the Senate. So then the Senate puts, they just passed it, which they put the pay raise in there, but also charter schools. It opens the way for charter schools and educational savings accounts, which sets aside public money for private schooling. It also includes bank personal days for retirement credit. Requires teachers to sign off annually on union dues. Stipulates no pay for teachers on strikes. And if part of the bill, it's a non-severability clause. So if part of the bill is struck, then it's all void. So you can't take out the bad stuff and leave the teacher's pay raise in it, is how they set it up. Either it's all or nothing with them. So this is the thing. This is how they're going to do it. Either they're going to make the teachers the bad guys by making them strike and do all this and just saying, see, they don't care. We try to give them this, and they just wouldn't roll over and take it because they don't want this. The teachers are angry about this, and they just proposed this. It's a 144-page bill, I believe, and it was like a week ago, and they're already, they pushed it through. They pushed this through. Now, the House of Delegates still has to vote on it, but from what I'm seeing on this, it's not good. And I don't blame the teachers if they do strike again, and I hope that they do, because there shouldn't be a stipulation put on this. This is what they deserve. This is what they've earned. I don't see why we have to make them compromise on it. Oh, also, oops, got a little excited there. Also, they wanted to increase the class sizes to like 31 to 31 students in each class. Like, they don't already have a hard enough time, helping each individual kid as it is. Let's make the class sizes bigger. Anything to save a buck. So, I don't know what the delegates are going to do. They might try to avoid another teacher strike. I don't know, but I really do hope that this doesn't get passed, but at the same time, you know, I really would just wish that we could get them the pay raise that they've earned. So that's just really annoying that they're, and it just speaks to their character. Hey, Forsaken, that they're doing this. And why are we, these are the people that are in office. But another topic that I wanted to touch on is, okay, so when I'm driving home from work, there's this billboard and it says West Virginia, WV, for healthfreedom.com. Now, this is a group, and it says vaccines are linked to all these things like autism. It shows all these supposed side effects of, vaccines that, I'm still looking into all this stuff. And the stuff that they're claiming that vaccines are doing has been debunked. And, I'm no fan of big pharma and I'm skeptical of, information, but this is pretty straightforward. I mean, vaccines save lives. So, this woman, and her name's Dr. Shonda Adkins. Now, this woman back in 2017, she's the one that started this group. She went back and this was in March 2017. She went before the West Virginia Senate Education. Yeah. She went and talked in front of them and gave this big speech about how vaccines do all these horrible things. Right? Now, they entertained her, listened to her, and made her seem knowledgeable and educated. Gave her, I mean, I'm not going to say that they gave her a platform and that in itself is bad, but they treated her like she was some kind of expert or had some kind of credibility in this field. Now, she's a pharmacist. All right. So, she's not completely uneducated, but she's not a doctor and she's not a scientist. She doesn't do, and I'm not saying that you have to be an expert on that, but she's claiming the status of expert. Okay. Now, her group, West Virginia for Health Freedom, is working with Del Bigtree. Now, he was I believe, a producer on The Doctors, huge source of credibility there. Producer on The Doctors. Now, he goes all across America. He made this movie called Vaxxed. Vaxxed has Vaxxed.com. And, just spewing a lot of stuff that just isn't true. And this is the problem. She's got all these things that she's working on. Well, guess who got appointed by Jim Justice, the governor, when, what's her name? One of our senators got reelected into a different office, and to fill that vacancy in her seat, Jim Justice appointed this woman. Now, when she got into office, her first thing was she proposed a bill that would allow parents to be exempt from giving their children vaccines and for religious or personal reasons. It failed. Now, this year, I don't think she's in office anymore, but this year they proposed it again. Now, this woman keeps going on all these different places. She's been on the Tom Rotten Show. She has been on iHeartRadio, Koch brother funded and owned. It's just all these different nefarious ties with this woman and her politics. And for whatever reason, our government is actually propping this woman up and making her more credible and giving her a platform and doing all this stuff when, I mean, she just doesn't have the facts. Now they've proposed the new bill that they proposed said that they claimed all these different things that that vaccines cause, but at the same time, they also claimed that vaccines are made from aborted fetuses' embryos. That's what it said. That they're pro-life and they believe that we shouldn't have vaccines shot into us using dead babies, which is not a thing. It's not a thing. Back in the 60s, there was a study where they used it was like 4 embryos to do a study, but they haven't done anything like that since, and they certainly don't put aborted babies in vaccines. It's absolute insanity that these are the people making decisions. You know, like conspiracy theorist. I'm the conspiracy theorist, you know, because I'm asking for facts and evidence. I mean, but just, and I'm not saying that we shouldn't be skeptical. That's the thing. But at the same time, look at before vaccines and after vaccines, you know? There's a preservative called thimerosal. I'm not going to try to say that. In vaccines, which contains mercury and can cause brain and nervous system damage. Yeah, I mean, I know when I went to get like a flu shot one time, that, you know, if you have like a certain egg allergy and stuff, like you can't, you know, like anything, like any type of medicine, you know, there's always the potential, and you should always look into, like, you know your allergies, know what you're putting in your body. But you know, there's always going to be some kind of risk. But when I'm looking at the overwhelming, you know, before and after vaccines, like, you know, this is stuff that, I mean, our grandparents probably look at us like we're crazy. Like, you know, I wish I didn't have polio. You know, that kind of thing. Like, what are you doing? Albumin allergy, is that what it is, that where you can't? I think it's the Guillain-Barré syndrome. That's what I'm talking about. Where if you're allergic to eggs, that you'll get this syndrome where, I mean, you'll go like completely paralyzed if you try to get the flu shot with it. So yeah, I mean, we shouldn't underplay the risks, but just really informed or misinformed, and they hear these words and they think like, oh, okay, like, that's dangerous, that's bad. But you know, if you break anything down into scientific names, it's going to sound bad. If you list the stuff that's in an apple and its scientific name, it's like, oh my god, I'm putting all that in my body. Oh gosh, what, I can't do that. It's just an apple. Yeah. But yeah, these people are just making claims that are just totally preposterous. And these are the same people that are making decisions about how we educate our children. And they're also, you know, making decisions about how we run our economy. And, you know, it's just, wow, that's scarier to me than any vaccine. You know what I mean? Like, uh, these are the people making decisions. And that's why I advocate for just like not being a part of the system at all. Because I don't know how you're supposed to fight within this corrupted system and make changes when the whole thing is designed to make us obsolete. Oh my god, that's awful. Trying to say that one of her mom's friends had that Guillain-Barré syndrome with the first flu shots and died in a nursing home 5 years later. Yep. That's sad. Oh yeah, that was another thing. B-ball, Richard Ojeda is out of the race. Uh, well, first of all, I think it's very strange. I think it's very strange what happened with Ojeda. He was all fire, right? All fire, ready to take on the system, all these ideas. And then he drops out of his Senate position. He drops out, quits being a senator. And then just 1 week later, he quits his presidential race. I find that highly suspicious. Very, very suspicious. Because he said what his reasoning for it was that he didn't have the funds to run for presidency. Now, he barely just got started. So, funds can be, the more he gets out there, the more he can bring in. The more people find out about him, the more that he's going to be able to raise. I mean, we barely even started the race. And for him to look at that and say just 1 week later, like, did he not foresee that before he dropped, out of the government? Did he not think about that? How did he not know the state of his race before he dropped out? That's what I was thinking. Somebody had a talk with him. Somebody had a little talk with him. Maybe it was an offer on train. Maybe he was made an offer for a different job. Maybe there was something like, well, if you continue this, we'll use this on you, some kind of blackmail type thing, or who knows. But to quit your job as a senator and then 1 week later say, oh, well, to pursue your presidential campaign, and then a week later say, well, I don't have a presidential campaign. Seems just very fishy to me. As far as the race goes, I anybody that I find progressive, I don't think the system will allow them. Anybody that's going to help us or benefit us, the system that we have in place right now won't allow them to ever be in a position to help us. So I like Tulsi. I was just watching her with Jimmy earlier, and she did a wonderful job on MSNBC talking with Joe and Mika. I mean, they were trying to get her to say how much she hated Assad and how he's a bad guy. Just say he's a bad guy. Just say he's a bad guy. Tried to smear her with a lot of stuff, and she was just dodging it and answering it intelligently too. She was really great on there. But as far as the election, I think that we have what I'm looking at is somebody that's going to run, that's going to get attention, not necessarily that's going to be able to succeed, because I don't think the system will allow it, but somebody that can rally people together and to take that movement, and where Bernie let his fizzle out and get divided and stuff, take that movement and continue pushing forward afterwards. So as far as somebody like that, Tulsi might be good, but the problem with Tulsi is I don't like that she tries to work within the Democratic Party, because the Democrats, as we watched today on MSNBC, are attacking her like a bunch of Fox News hosts. They're attacking her from the right. They're like, why don't you want war? Like, why can't you say the things that make us get to war? What's with all this peace talk? Why are you trying to be diplomatic? Don't say these things. You're saying the wrong things. You're supposed to be confrontational and push us into more war. What's this talk of bringing troops back home? They They did not like anything about her or her stances. And these are supposed to be people in the Democratic Party. These are supposed to be our allies. You know, these are the people that blame us for the discord. No, it's not us. We have the ideas that most of the Americans are behind. These are the people that are causing the problems. The Stephanie Millers and the Mika and the Rachel Maddow, which I heard Deb Della Piana call her Rachel Moscow, and I don't know if that was her that came up with that, but that was brilliant. Rachel Moscow. Yeah, I like Tulsi a lot better than Bernie. I know. I was trying not to say too much about that interview because I know James is pretty lit up about it, and I know he's going to do a piece on it. So, oh, you saw that too, Derek? Yeah, she handled it well, though. She did. Yep, Anthony, I gotta agree. Bernie lets the DNC wipe the floor with him, and then he just keeps on coming back for more. Randy Rhodes, yeah. There's some of these people that I've heard talk about that used to be, you know, on the up and up. Like I've heard Randy Rhodes in the past was good. I think James said Stephanie Miller used to be, but I didn't even know about her till today, and I heard her talking, and she was, I mean, just absolute corporate Democrat, neoliberal through and through. Rachel Maddow. Who else? I know I'm forgetting. There's another one. Oh, Tom Hartman. God, what a disappointment. Yeah, they've already started discrediting her. And also, what they're doing with Kamala, they're already talking about the Russian bots. They're already talking about how they were talking about ADOS, and this was Joy-Ann Reid talking about anybody that has ADOS in their bio is a Russian bot, and they're just trying to sow discord within the Black community, all this different stuff. I mean, it's absolutely already. They said that they're doing this. They launched this assault on Kamala Harris because they knew she was going to run. So they're already blaming Russian bots for people not liking Kamala Harris with no evidence, no facts, no investigation. They didn't bring up any kind of like, hey, we had some guys look into it, and here's what they found. Here's the evidence that that we found out these people aren't real. That this company's running these profiles. None of that. None of that. They just said, and then Joy-Ann Reid starts agreeing with the woman that's spewing all this bullshit and saying, yep, I've noticed an uptick. Have you? Have you? Let me see your data. But there is none. There is none. It's just whatever they can get to stick to the wall, I guess. Yep, right out of the gate. I mean, because if it failed before, I'm sure it'll work this time. Randy Rhodes was amazing until she called Hillary a corporate whore in a stand-up routine and got fired from Air America. Wow. Yeah, Joy-Ann Reid just sealed the black vote, won't vote Kamala. I don't think anybody's fooled by that. Well, there's some outliers that just, have a steady diet of like MSNBC and propaganda that go along with this stuff. But I would say I'm not that worried about it. I think the majority of Americans can see through that. The problem is when we get past the primary, because this is the problem that we had the last time, is then people get scared. They get scared of Trump or whatever that the opposition is and all the horrible right-wing things that they're going to do to him, that the guy that they just voted for, Kamala or Hillary, is guarantee who's going to do the same thing, but just with nicer words. So, but I get it. People get scared and then you don't make good decisions when you're panicky or scared. And we have good reason to be scared with this stuff. I mean, these are the people in charge of, like I said earlier, they're in charge of our children's education. They're in charge of our health. They're in charge of our economy, our paychecks, how we live, what laws we get passed, how we can treat ourselves, and, what we can be arrested for and how we're treated. What, if we do get arrested. I mean, like these, and so it's very important. But at this point, there's really not much for us to do, because as we've seen in our past elections, they'll throw away our votes. They won't count them. They'll get flipped. It's just, it's a big scam at this point. Yeah, I mean, I'd love to see people like Tulsi and Jesse Ventura and all these people get together, and work outside the system. I mean, we've got to find ways to reduce their power and make them obsolete. What if Bernie does not run? Then he endorses Tulsi and gives his email list to her. Tulsi could catch fire and take over the movement. I mean, she could win a lot of votes. She could win over a lot of people, even change some people's ideas about things or open their mind up to, free college, or, comprehensive Medicare for all, that kind of thing, like Bernie did. The problem is we all witnessed, and I know that it seems like I'm obsessed about this, but we all witnessed. It wasn't like a little vote here and a little vote there. I mean, you look at the stadiums Bernie would fill, all the votes, the turnout for him, the excitement, everybody that was backing him. And then you see hundreds of thousands of votes being thrown out. People kicked off the voting list. People that were switched, they went to vote and their party had been switched. They were registered as something else. Votes that were flipped altogether, or they counted for less. I mean, this was on a massive scale, because he had massive support, overwhelming, more than Hillary Clinton by a landslide. So they had to commit this fraud and rigging on a massive scale. And it's obvious that he was the real winner in that. We won. I mean, we haven't had a legitimate president in, I can't even tell you how long. I know past what, 3, 4 maybe? Exactly, Bluebell. He did. But yet we're the Trump supporters. Bunch of racist, ignorant Trump supporters. Even though Bernie, he won the primary. We tried. But we trust Hillary about as far as we can throw her. We can see, based on what we've lived and what we've seen, and the information that we have here, we can see through the Hillary Clintons. Whereas people on the other side of the United States, they, based on their lives and their information that they get, they can see through the Republicans. But we're too busy fighting with each other to say, oh, well, maybe they're both piles of shit. Yeah, Tulsi could appeal to Republicans. That's one of the things that I thought was really great about Ojeda was that I think that he would get through to a lot of the Republicans and Trump supporters and or Trump voters. I wouldn't say Trump supporters, but you know, somebody got his mind right real quick. Hello, Austin, Mount Enid. Seen a bunch of people come in. Our super delegates in the Washington state pre-promised their votes to Hillary. The people overwhelmingly voted for Bernie. Yeah, we're not even going to get into the legal built-in ways that they get by with this stuff. I just named like the stuff that was off the books under the table that they did. That Russia did. I mean, it's so crazy. And it's always been like that. I mean, it's gotten better. This is the best it's been. But, you know, we want democracy, just not democracy for everybody, not too much of it, I mean, now we're letting, like black people vote, as long as they vote Democrat. And, women can vote now as long as they support other women, or else there's a special place in hell for them. Oh man, I forgot to scroll down I know there's a train like every 30 minutes. Nope, that's right, Balthazar. I don't see Tom Perez is holding that gate down. He is not letting anybody through it that would actually help us. Yeah, I did listen to Bernie's response. It was just like 1,000 times better than Stacey Abrams and her dad's stories. It was just, I don't know. Like I started off, I'm like, okay, oh, she seems nice. All right, I'm listening, and I'm waiting for policy, and I'm waiting for her to say something substantial, something with some meaning behind it, or some truth. But I heard a lot of platitudes, and then I heard a lot of stories about what her dad did, and that's nice, good for your dad. But I want to know what you're doing. Tell me about you. Your dad's not running for office. You are up there. You're the one up there doing stuff now. So tell me what you're doing. Didn't get that from her. And she totally skated around insurance. Yeah. 2020 Dems now with even more platitudes. Yeah, and that was the other thing. Yeah, it was like she had this speech, but it wasn't like even directly tied. Oppose Trump, Trump bad, and okay, throw one of those in there. It was a very generic. I mean, Trump has no shortage of dumb shit that comes out of his mouth. I mean, you could just wing that. I mean, just pick anything every like 3 seconds. You got something new to call out in your speech. Go with it. Pick one. Pick 10. Anything. No. Oh God, Trump's sob stories. Did anybody else catch that right after he showed the little girl with cancer or had cancer? Did anybody else notice the giant skip in his speech? Like it was all over the place. There was no flow to it. It was like, and we're going to help, this little girl here, and we're going to help cure cancer, and and also fix our charter schools. Like ended the sentence, started it with cancer, children with cancer, and ended it with talking about charter schools. I was like, did the teleprompter skip or something? Because it was everywhere. You know, And then I don't know, it's just all over the place. Yeah, Power Bite. Dim's speech was as boring and uneventful as the latest Super Bowl. Pretty much. Uninspiring. Just, I mean, it's like a Mad Libs thing. Like, okay, tell hokey story about upbringing. Insert platitude. Finish with a Trump jab. You know, just you could just it's a Mad Libs. Every Democratic speech is like that. As long as you make sure you don't say anything of substance, like they said in the DNC leaks, do not offer any real solutions. Don't give them real solutions. Then you might have to be held accountable for something. Keep it going around making promises. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I guess that isn't anything new, but I just thought that maybe with like such a big speech like that, that they'd have a teleprompter and maybe a practice, like run over it, a couple of times before I got up there or something. But I give them too much credit. What is this? Oh, I'm missing the chat. Hold on. He was like an MC at Next Up. Yeah. And next up, first of all, let me get all my little shields out there. Let's talk about the soldiers, the policemen, children with cancer. I don't know. I mean, I'm surprised he didn't throw a blind puppy out there just to give it a little extra cushion. Yeah, perhaps the worst part of the State of the Union was the cheering crowds on both sides. Mm-hmm. You see, old Debbie Wasserman Schultz was there in her white. Oh, and I was checking out Reddit today, looking on there, uh, because whenever there's anything that goes on like this, there's always some propaganda that they push on Reddit. And already they're trying to push Pelosi as this badass, like, cool Nancy Pelosi. Because there's that picture of her where she's clapping like this. Now she just does that because that's how rich people do things. They're weird. Okay, they don't clap like we do. They're just, oh, that's what I don't know. Nancy Pelosi's just, she's like a billion years old and her brain is fried with booze or whatever it is that's going on up there, or money. Maybe that's what money does to you at the end of your life. It's fried up there. But anyway, Reddit is pushing this propaganda about how oh, I love Nancy Pelosi's fuck you clap. She's the hero we need, and doing all these Photoshop battles, like just trying to make her cool and um, interesting to the young folk, I guess. It's just already trying. What? I missed the whole New York abortion law. Balthazar always has such good jokes. Only thing that changes less in her face is her policy. We're capitalist. It's how we do things. Tyler Rosa. Oh, late term abortions are legal there now. Hmm. Yeah, so there's, as usual, with the news and with our politics, there is no shortage of dumbassery or bullshit. But that's why I haven't been doing as many shows, is because I could sit here talking till I'm blue in the face about this stuff. I could do it all day, every day, and it's just, I'll never run out of stuff to call out. Lies to debunk, facts to get straight. That's why most of the time on here I talk about solutions, but sometimes it's just, wow, the bullshit gets so high, and then you have to just address it. That's what I'm doing. It's just, wow, this is bad. Between West Virginia and this isn't how we think here. They posted this news story with this vaccine thing, and this isn't, all the comments underneath it are all these people saying, are you stupid? What are you doing? That's the one thing that we were number one at. And they want to take and they want to change that up. Nobody, the people don't want this law. And they're pointing to Washington. Look at the measles outbreak. Look at what's going on in Washington. They passed something like this. Look what's happening there. And are they thinning the herd? I know they're trying to kill us as fast as they can by sending us to unnecessary wars and poisoning our water supply, death by cops and everything else, short lifespans through poverty and stress. But, I guess we're just going to have to add lack of immunizations to that. Measles now. Yay. Just another thing to thin us out. Oh, Bluebell, yeah, he dropped out, he said, due to financing, but it just sounds fishy. Yeah, a lot more people have kind of woken up to what's going on in the past 2 years. I think that's why only a small fraction of people in the United States even bother with voting, because they know they've already checked out. Like, what, it's all just, it's all nothing. It's all nothingness. They know not to trust a Democrat or a Republican or the media. Oh my gosh, you're in Nevada where the well water is radioactive. Wow. Yeah. That's America. Number one. We need independent exit polling and ballot counting. Yeah. I want a receipt. I want to show where my vote was, how it was counted. I want to be able to go and check on it. Yep, it's still there. It's still a vote for this person. All right. Yeah, through the nuclear testing and all this stuff. I mean, just think about all the atrocities that and America's done. Now this is a thing. Like, now there's, strontium in our teeth and bones. Our water's, got lead, and it's radioactive, or it's got MCHM from the coal companies, or, these are just things now, and it's normal because that's the world that we were born into, and nobody really questions it. Same thing here, chemical companies all up and down the river. Normal. Grew up around that stuff. I didn't even really see it. It was just a thing that was there. And then I was like, wait a second. What are they making over there? What is going on? What is that smoke that's coming out into that's what's in the smoke that's burning? What are they releasing into our atmosphere? All these different things, but just it was just normal. And that's how most of this stuff happens. And even when you see it, we're like this bystander effect. All of us, we're all looking around and we all see this stuff that's like nobody's making any money, nobody has health care, nobody, you know, everything's just really bad. But we're all just, it's like watching a car wreck. We're all just standing there like somebody's going to jump in and fix this, right? Somebody's going to come in and save these people. But everybody else is thinking that too. So we're all just standing around waiting for something to happen, and it's not going to. What is going on in the chat? Oh, you make stuff. Who is it? Okay, KSI. Dude, come on now. If you want to sit here and talk, that's fine, but I'm not going to have you threatening people. We're here to talk about a topic. There you go. Thank you, James. I just noticed it. I was trying to fix it. Okay. See? All right. So we're going to wrap this up here very soon. Oh, that's a new one. I don't get trolled very often. I feel special now. That generally doesn't happen here. We usually have a very nice crew, even when we disagree. So let's see. I'm going to look more into this this vaccination lady and get my thoughts more coherent because I just started researching this stuff, and I know it was a little all over the place, like Trump's speech, but I'll get it more condensed down, get more information, and put it in some kind of logical order. And then I'll get back to you on it because I'm still looking into the finances of these people. I'm trying to figure out the connection between Jim Justice, maybe some different possible reasons. I know that the guy that proposed this new bill with that vaccination, um, Bill, he gets money from United Health and a couple other hospital insurance companies. So is it just that they're trying to get out of paying for stuff, or is it a thing like Big Pharma wants to, make more money on hospital stays when people get sick and then you're going to have to be hospitalized for like polio or whatever it is? So probably a little bit of both. Okay, thank you. Thank you. I'll try to put in the comments the link to the Discord for anybody that wants to continue the conversation or post, articles or whatever. So that way y'all can keep talking after the live streams end, because I know y'all get in your conversation on here and we get to sharing information, but a lot of times I just got to run out the door and go to work like I do today. So all right. Anyway, thanks everybody for watching, and I appreciate it, and I'll talk to you later.